Welcome to Who Put This On, Season 6, Episode 24, where we watch Selling Tampa, Season 1, Episode 1, and it's where I make my craft, making podcasts. I'm Chris Lorenz.
This podcast is not a dating event. This is Brian.
I'm living in a city that has all professional sport teams. This is Noah.
And joining us for the first time, Christina, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So each week we watch a different reality show, discuss it in minute detail, figure out if it's good or bad. And before we get into this week's show, let's discuss last week's show. So last week we had a Twitter poll on Twitter, and I'm looking it up right now, but I believe we had a top third show consensus. 88.9% top third for our show Candified on Hulu. That does not bode with what our ratings were last week. So audience has spoken. So if you want to get in on what you think, if this is a top, middle, bottom, third show, go to Twitter at Who Put This On and vote for this week's show next week. Noah, what show did we watch this week?
This week, we watched Selling Tampa. Agents mix business with pleasure as they rule the luxury waterfront real estate market at an all-female, black-owned agency in Tampa, Florida. That is Selling Tampa on Netflix.
Thank you, Noah. So this is a show we've already done, Selling Sunset. This is the same show, correct? Right?
Definitely, yeah.
Noah, we have on the books calling that a top third show.
Yeah. I think the format is pretty good. Right, like you get a peek into this luxury real estate. I think after the fact, as I did more digging, I realized this is more stage reality than true reality. But that's for something to come.
And Christina, you have a lot of experience with Selling Sunset as well, correct?
Yes, big fan.
Big fan. So we got some fans of Selling Sunset here. Some previous fans, some not. I did not like Selling Sunset. But this show essentially is looking at a group of realtors at a company, and we follow them to go through some houses. We do an event, and it's just kind of like a mix of housing show and a real housing show. It's kind of what this show is. So this show is centered around Sherelle. She owns a real estate business, Allure Realty. It was founded to do this reality show, it seems.
That was a shocking moment for me. It's 1 year old.
Yeah, it's 1 year old. She does a speech at the end where, like, they said I'd only last 6 months, and it's been a year. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I guess that's an accomplishment.
Do you think that really was the case? Like, it's not absurd.
I mean, if you don't have... Okay, let's look at this one. So there's Sherelle, and there's like 8 other realtors at this company. Like, I just don't know how you'd hire 8 people if you only had a 6-month runway. Like, well, how many houses? You're selling $1 million houses. Like, you don't have to sell that many.
I did a little research. I found that she became a realtor in 2017. So she's had a few years to maybe get people to go with her and join her actual brokerage.
It definitely seems like if you're starting your own brokerage, it's not the first realtor thing you do. That would be weird. No?
Yep.
No, I think that would be like unnecessarily risky because you could go learn the ropes.
Yeah, from Sherelle. She'll teach you the ropes. Then you can start selling Miami as your own brokerage firm.
Well, I hate to burst your bubble. There's an Allure Realty in Miami as well.
Oh,
there's 2 branches.
So this is just the Tampa branch, and there's a Miami branch. Or is there a Selling Miami coming up soon?
Let's see. So their first Instagram post on Allure Realty Miami was August 5th. So it might not be that far away, but it's the same thing. It's all black women serving Miami market.
Wait, was it Sherelle whose boyfriend was in Miami? Maybe one of them finally moved.
No. Sherelle's dating Chad Ochocinco.
Yeah.
I believe the Miami one, her name was Tanel? I don't know. Or Joanna or something. We'll get into it later. But yeah. So it's kind of, they kind of tee this off the same way Selling Sunset did, where they talked about, we have this big house, we got to sell it. We're going to sell this big house. And the whole season was them selling this big house. This one moved a little bit quicker, so they had this big house. It's an 8.5 million is what they're going. It's selling for. It's a 7-bed, 6-bathroom, 9,000 square feet, 400-foot waterfront, 4.5-acre house.
Don't forget the fancy tree house.
There's a tree house. There's a pool. There's a hot tub. There's pretty much anything you probably want and more probably in this house. It's pretty ostentatious. Anyway.
Ostentatious?
Yeah, that's probably the word I'm looking for.
Maybe ostentatious means like you're very apparent, very visible. So like wearing a big like chain necklace would be ostentatious.
I mean, when you have a 9,000 square foot house, is that not? Does it need to have like a clown in the front to be ostentatious? Is that what you're saying?
It would depend. Like I think if you got that house and then when you walk in, there's like a gold statue and it says like a little sign. This is a gold statue that costs $2 million. That would be
that's fine. It's fine. Anyway, they're trying to sell this house, so they have a big event. And the event happens in this episode, where they have 27 guests. Everyone comes in cocktail attire, which there's a lot of weird like bits going on in this show. That's the only way I could say it. Is like they have a meeting about this event, and they're like literally somebody reads out the definition of cocktail attire, and it's very awkward and very boring. And I don't understand this.
It was such good shade, though. Like, the boss of this company is just like, look, I can't just let you all dressed right. I've seen you come in this club attire. I need to stop this right now.
It's true. They did throw shade at somebody for no club attire, somebody for no date attire, which I'm very confused. I'm very confused on, like, what the difference between, like, cocktail hour is versus date attire versus club attire. Because I feel like all these women could have showed up at the club in those outfits, except for the ugly dress. But am I wrong?
They could have, but you can go.
I mean, obviously you could be fancier.
I was confused why they didn't go with business attire. It seemed like sexy business attire would kind of be the correct level. But cocktail seemed like they could go too far, too trashy, which I think was what they were trying to avoid.
They were trying to avoid too trashy. That's what you were saying. Like, we don't want the boobs out there. They want like some business going on.
But then the HR Glamour came in the flower curtain dress.
Oh, she looked terrible. No, Christina,
I thought it was terrible.
Would you buy that dress, Christina?
No.
Would you throw shade at somebody that wore that dress?
Probably yes.
Okay, just kind of, somebody did throw shade at that person at the party, so we're not the only ones. Now, Noah, do you think that she did that on purpose for the show, or do you think that's her actual style?
I think it's a bit of both. So I've been a little bit in the corner going through like all the employees and their CMO, trying to piece together the puzzle that is Allure Realty. to your question, I think it's a bit of both. I think these are who they are, but just to bring it back a page, I think you're right, Chris. I think they made this agency for Netflix. I think you're right.
Wait, so like, is Netflix just trying to do a hustle right now where like they're selling these like multi-million-dollar homes and then get like a small cut? Like they're definitely gonna cut. Like if you can sell it, then all of a sudden this production paid for itself. That is a huge win for Netflix.
I think so. Like I'm going really into it, and so do you want to finish up the segment on the dressing? Because
I mean, there's only one other minutia I wanted to bring up, but I think we'll bring it up when we talk about the people. So at this event, whatever happened, go ahead.
Okay, so one thing that was interesting, they haven't introduced this character yet. It's this guy named Gabriel Antonio. He's a CMO of Allure Realty, who's actually in some of the shots. Shockingly, they didn't introduce him. Also weird, he's a CMO of Allure, not a black female.
Yeah. Classic bankrolling the minority business.
That's why he was not in the shot.
That's why he's not in the show.
Yeah.
The show is about the black women running this business. It's not about the white people that prop this business up.
To be fair, Gabriel Antonio seems to be a Spanish gay guy. So he's not a white cis straight male.
Okay. My whiteness is probably coming through.
Anyway, the reason why this matters, Gabriel has built a career prior to this as being a social media influencer. And like he clearly knows how to set up something to proliferate in the current age. From what I can tell, the Allure Instagram handle started in March as well. When could they have shot this show? It wasn't in the summer because it's sweltering in Florida in the summer. And I doubt they shot it like a month ago. And so the only thing that leads you to is spring.
I mean, I'm telling you, like, I'm not surprised at all that a social media influencer is kind of like involved in this whole thing. If you're a realtor trying to sell fancy homes anywhere, I think being a social media influencer will help you in any number of ways. And if you're a social media influencer, this is another way to take it to the next level. Like, oh, I get paid like, I don't know, like 10 grand to hawk this product, but I can make $270K like selling this house, or like a percentage of somebody else selling that house by like doing the social media for them, you know?
This is genius. It's the next level. It's not even that. It's what this guy and Sherelle realized is the niches of reality TV. You just got to spin up the business for Netflix to film and like literally build it so it fits in their formula. This is remarkable.
All right, Noah, take notes. We can start this.
They are genius.
We're going to be the cis male tech guys selling $1 million houses in Seattle.
Can I just get out of this immediately? Like
we're going to do selling Seattle.
Are you not trying to get
selling my soul?
Brian, you don't want to get paid?
You don't want to be at this gala event?
Definitely do. But I want to be on the opposite end of this. So
you want to be giving up the $6.5 million for that house? That's what you want to be?
Yeah. Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, you keep cornering. Let's bring it back. Let's talk about all the people in the show. Actually, before we do that, talk about the intro to the show. Is like a lot of these women just talking, and like they're talking about this event, and I was just like, who are these people? I didn't understand the introduction to this show. Right.
Yeah, they really rolled into it, and it was a little like hard to keep up. And I kind of liked it because it was the only reason I really couldn't keep up and even cared was I was taking notes for this podcast. But then in the end, like I figured all this information anyway. Like, oh, what commission are they getting on the house? Didn't need to write that down. How big is the house? Didn't need to write that down. Like, and then their history is just
I just like I find it hard to care when I don't know their names. Like they just like were talking and they didn't even go to what their names were.
Well, they put their name up, but only the first time. So it was very hard to keep track because I can't remember it that quickly.
This is also where having closed captions was very helpful because I was religiously watching them. I'm like, okay, is it going to give me a signal when they're talking? And it did, and it really helped.
Yeah, if good closed caption with names would definitely help too, for sure.
It wasn't perfect, granted. Like, it didn't do it all the time, but when it did it, it was good.
All right, let's get a little deeper on the people on the show. I was going to say hosts or contestants, but they're not either of those things. So anyway, let's talk about Sherelle. She's dating Chad Ochocinco. She has 3 kids. She's the owner of this business, I guess. And
well, they made it clear that she is the broker. So it seemed like it's like a special designation compared to just being a real estate agent.
And then her mom's house burned down during filming of the show, and she didn't go back to her family. She just stayed into this gala event. I keep calling it a gala event, but they did not call it that, just as an FYI. Anyway, I thought she should have went back to her mom. I don't understand the priorities here. Anyone else?
It's unclear where the mom lives.
She said in the middle of nowhere. So I don't know if that means Florida, middle of nowhere, or Oklahoma, middle of nowhere.
Right. I think that before going in quick, it's like, well, maybe she just lives 20 minutes away. We don't know.
I was confused why they included it if she decided not to go back. So my thought was that it was intentional to make her look more committed to her career and to be more of a badass in the workforce. Because otherwise, why include it?
Right. It definitely has a drama for this show kind of aspect to it. But there's definitely some scenes in here where it's like, oh, I really believe that her mom's house burned down. So unless she's a good actor, I don't know.
It seemed real. The only thing that was odd, they did these close-ups of the phone. I don't know if you guys noticed that, when she's showing the homes. And I found it to be odd because the time on the phone was 7:49 when she's going through the photos, and the kid was doing homework. So it's is a kid doing homework after dinner? He should be probably getting ready for bed. And so it's there's something a little inauthentic about that. I think they had to do that on B-roll and then split in the shot, which makes me uncertain on the time of events.
I mean, they're definitely recording that at a separate time. Only you, though, would go into this freaking time situation, which is wild.
They made it apparent. They didn't have to do that.
I know they could have blurted out or not shown it. I agree with you.
But, okay, I gotta go back. I want to go back to this just to see where it is, because, on a clock, on a phone, it's just in the top right corner. I'm not paying attention. I'm paying attention to the pictures being shown to me.
It was a very pertinent detail.
Very, very pertinent. Very pertinent. All right. Thanks, Noah, for your internet quarter there.
That was it. No, that was
for your
eyes on the prize.
Your keen observations.
Can I also say the internet cornering is really deep right now? Doing it. You haven't been on here before, and B, we're doing it remote, so that you have access to a computer right there, and you're just going ham. You're in the Matrix right now.
Look, if a laptop would help you internet corner when we're in person, there's a laptop available for you to internet corner. Just letting you know.
I definitely feel empowered at this moment.
All right, so that's all about her. I don't know if there's anything else to say. We'll get into other things probably. Let's talk about the next woman we meet is Colony. She's trying to sell a house for $6.5 million. 5-bed, 5.5 baths, 12,000 square feet. We get to see her show a client around, Cho, and there's kind of this weird flirtation going on with Cho and her. And this might be the segment that felt the most made up, because that house looked like a regular house, like people are living there. Like, it was cleaned up, of course, but like,
Yeah,
it's not necessarily available to be sold. She even said it's not available to be sold right now. So it's like, does this house come back? Like, do they actually sell this house? The problem with the show, this categorizes the problem I have with the show, is like, do I have any faith in them that they're actually selling these houses and what they're telling me is true? And then, do I care that they sell these houses? Is where my mind goes down. And then, do I care to like watch the show? Why am I watching it to see these fun houses? Like, I could see that, I guess. It was just kind of rambling on about this stupid house and whether you're selling it or not.
I mean, it was a nice house, and I think what it did a good job was getting you into the level of homes they are selling. But, you know, from Selling Sunset, we saw that a lot of their clients were fake. Right? They didn't actually have the money to purchase the homes that they were looking at. And so I have my doubts about Cho. Like, does Cho really got the cash to get this place? I tried finding him on the internet, but Cho in Tampa only brings up an Asian doctor.
Man, you're doing us proud. I mean, I don't want to stereotype anyone, but he's from Cameroon. So it's, you know, if you move from Cameroon to the US, you probably have a decent amount of money. It's not like that's not an easy transition to make. So it's not out of this world that he could afford a $6.5 million house, but I think it would be an unusual thing. So
yeah, totally don't know. I mean, I'm looking up where Cameroon actually is.
It's in the western part of Africa.
How'd you know that?
Because my friend did the Peace Corps in Cameroon. So
this like
I know where Cameroon is.
Like Africa, yes, but like, man, bonus points for knowing just like even.
I could point it to you on the map.
Wow, you passed the John Oliver test.
Like, I know where Cameroon is.
Impressive.
Many other African nations I cannot. So don't risk
me. Okay, all right. I'll go return that board game.
To me, the style of that house, though, did not match his personality, which seemed, or his lifestyle, which seemed to be bachelor. It very much felt like a family house.
Yeah.
And that was his feedback, was like, man, I'm going to buy this. Then the wife I get, she's going to be like, what's up with this house? Right? So he needs more of like a transition house that he can like upgrade later on, rather than like, no, you got to find the wife to fit the house.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I agree with you that like it would be weird for a bachelor to buy a 5-bedroom, 5.5 bath place in the middle of Tampa versus like a condo in the middle of downtown Tampa or downtown Miami. Like, that seems like probably where you want to be. So yeah, that's also another hit against this like house and this client, I guess.
Yeah, but he seems like a good guy. I just wish they did more backstory on him. Right? Like, I feel like when you're going to buy like a $9 million place or $6 million, whatever, it's like, how you got this money?
He's not getting it. Like, it just doesn't matter.
Well, you already talked. You already said the clients are fake, and I 100% think this client's fake. Like, there's no.
I want to believe, Chris. I want to believe.
Yeah, I mean, while you're watching the show, it's hard. Like, we're sitting here analyzing the show for 25 minutes already. Like, we are deep. We are deep in the is this real or not? And I think we all. But while watching it, I didn't really think about it or care that much because we're moving. Like, we also need to introduce all these people. Like, we haven't even introduced all the women yet. To introduce this random client seems weird. No?
I mean, I don't think he's a random client. He's like.
I just mean like deep dive into this guy. Like, oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of, from Cameroon, we have Annie Sophie. She's from, I forget exactly what she said, but she also speaks French. She went to this house. Also, very weird.
Is
Definitely
she set up
for this show.
Yeah.
But she has some couple funny lines throughout the show. She was like, well, if I got 3% commission on this $8.5 million house, I'd get $270K, and that's some vacation money.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Well, no. You missed. I think we missed the underlying premise. That's now money to get on below deck. And once you're on below deck, you just keep going.
Just keep the ball rolling. That's fair. That's fair. It's just a weird comment to say. That you got to come from money. If you any way you think a six figure value of money is good for vacation, like
It's great.
that's like house. It's like, and that's what everyone would say. Anyone I think would say that. But vacation money is very weird.
I mean, for us, we're not living that Allura lifestyle.
Is there an Allura lifestyle? Are they going to make it a year?
I mean, Sherelle seems pretty impressive, right? Like, she's in the military for 10 years. She comes out.
Whoa, you didn't say that. Where did that come from?
They said on the show a couple times, and then she has it on her LinkedIn also.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So she does that. She starts this firm. Unclear if she starts it a year ago or she's been in the business since 2017. Like, I can't find that specific detail, but like, she's doing well. Her net worth is expected to be around $7 million. Like, she's 34. She's killing it.
Oh yeah. All right, let's get back to Anne Sophie. Did you look her up on the socials?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. All right. Well, she doesn't have the vacation money, so we'll see if she earns it. So she shows up and flirts with Cho, and they talk French. And then there was this great side, like her confessional about her like dating requirements, because her and Colony are single. So there's like a lot of conversations about this. She's like, height, number one. First, she needs a tall boob, is a quote from her. And then she's like, attractiveness, and then rich. So she's got a lot of requirements here. Brian, what do you think about these requirements?
Seem like not out of place for clientele. Like, when you're like this lifestyle level, I guess is the best way to put it. Like, that's just it. You're gonna try to match with it. Match the energy of what you're trying to sell.
So if you're selling $1 million homes, you can't be with no schlub.
I believe the correct term is scrub.
Ain't no scrubs. Is this where we splice on ain't no scrubs?
No, Chris, we can't pay for that. Don't do it.
We get content denied. All right. There's also a weird conversation about kind of Colony insinuating that Cho had a big thing in his pants. And is I the only one that got that?
I missed that.
I missed that.
I missed that too.
I think you're making it up now.
I don't know. Well, we'll have to go to the tape.
You know what Chris was thinking, though.
I'm just telling you what they were talking about. I don't know. They had like wink winks of like, how do you know? Like, you just said you had a lunch conversation with the guy. And I was like, what else could you be talking about?
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, but what are they talking about there? Huh?
I don't know. Yankees?
All right. And she also has another funny line later where like they're picking out an outfit. And they're like, we're closing deals in heels. Very good. Ryan, a couple there.
I like when she referred to herself and Colony as the nieces and all the other women as the aunties because they were old.
That was pretty good.
And they're probably not wrong. But you said that what's her name's only 34. That's not very old.
Yeah, do we know how old Anne, Sophie, and Colony are?
Yeah, so Anne Sophie's 27. Colony I need to look up, but I'm sure that's pretty similar.
All right. We met the nieces. Let's meet the aunties. We meet Tennille. Is that how she pronounced her name? I don't know.
Wait,
She orders. What?
You were getting this better than like some of the other names.
So, yeah, I'm really bad at names, by the way, so that's why I asked if that's right or not.
Good.
She orders a pina colada with a rum floater. That's a solid drink. That's a drink you should be ordering.
At lunchtime.
With HR present.
Wait, which person was HR again?
We'll get to HR next.
Okay.
So this is where my quip came from earlier on. She said that she likes this long distance relationship she's in because she can focus on her craft, making money. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that's the way we should all be doing it.
There's a weird conversation about proposal going on. She didn't want to be proposed to, and this was like lavish and like a big rock, is what I gathered.
Yeah. At the minimum, needs to be like a big proposal, right? But if the rock was big enough, she would maybe consider a so-so proposal.
That's still wild. Why would you focus on just the proposal, not like the party?
What party?
The wedding.
I mean, the proposal isn't a party.
No, but like she wants it to be some big event.
I do agree with you that it is weird to say no based on the proposal itself.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
she just didn't seem that into the guy. They've been dating 5 years. She sees him every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, she was not pushing to move that forward. So, like, sure, she might say yes if she's wowed, but it certainly didn't seem like she was too into it.
But Christina, why would it make a difference if you're not into it that he has a giant proposal? Does that change you to make it into it? Like, that's my question.
I don't know. I was confused by her whole approach there. Maybe that was a pina colada topping.
Something fun to do, maybe. Yeah, I like it in the show. Very specific order. I don't know if this was product placement or not. So, right, they're getting cocktails. It says, I'll have a pina colada with a Captain Morgan floater. Do we think this is a product placement or real order?
No, I think that this is a power play. Like, you wouldn't just get like just a rum floater. It's like, hey, I want like something that's more up there.
But it's not like it's high-end rum.
Yeah, it's like,
it's not.
But I'm sure that's.
But she's not drinking. Drink. She's not drinking well rum. Like, let's be clear.
I mean, if she's going to places where Captain Morgan's not the well rum or like equivalent, like, what's she doing? You got to go to the right places. You can't go to like college bars where the well rum is like $5 a hand.
Like, let's put this in the scene, right? Like, everything they do in the show is about how they're living the lux life, right? They show the Mercedes that they're driving constantly, the designer purses, the designer earrings. In this situation, I think you would tee it up like, hey, what's the fancy rum you have? Cool, I'm going to order that when you come in. That's not the case. She goes Captain Morgan.
I just love the analyzation about this. It's just like, why Captain Morgan? Why not, Patron or not Patron? I don't even know what a high-end whiskey would be or
rum. Yeah, so I mean, it depends what the bar has. Like, that's actually also the issue at rum. There's an open in the marketplace to like really go high end. General higher end rum, you think of a Cruzan, Cruzan, but it actually is an open spot.
There you go. No, here we are. We're making business ideas right now. High end rum. Here we go.
It's definitely open.
We need a social media influencer. We just need to make some high end rum.
I'll call my mom in a minute.
Okay. You should shout out your mom's handle then if she's some sort of Instagram influencer.
Actually, I got to eat my words. Cruzan is not nice. It is dirt cheap. I don't know what I'm talking about.
So there you go. Noah, not the person to make high end rum, apparently doesn't even know what's above Captain Morgan?
Nope, I have no idea. Teal and vodka I can speak to.
All right. So, speaking of HR, let's meet Joanna?
Johanna?
Johanna, okay. We'll go with Johanna. She also in a long-distance relationship, but only 3 hours away, so I assume that's in Miami. She is a grandmother, so there's a couple jokes about her being a grandmother in the show.
Glamma.
Glamma. That's a good one. Do you think that's her real name? Like, instead of going by grandma, she's Glamma?
I don't know. Could be. I mean, I do got to say, it's shocking. She looks like she's in her 20s herself. And she has a 22-year-old kid. Like, she looks so young.
Yeah. I mean, she probably had that kid real young. I mean, you could look in the inner corner and see how old she is, but until you do, we're just going to assume she had it real young. I guess in the show they had Joanna, Tennille, and Cheryl like together at this restaurant when they were ordering stuff. I thought it was kind of weird. Nothing really happened there. Just kind of introed everyone. If you didn't intro the people there, I think that conversation would have been real boring.
I think they were setting the stage for the wardrobe conversation at the party later. They were setting the dress code.
I mean, that's a good time to talk about how Tennille wore the ugly dress at this party. And everyone else most of them looked like they walked right into the club floor. Like, they weren't, like, slutty club dressing, but she was wearing... Brian, can you describe this dress?
I mean, fairly, like, close to, like, the knee. Like, they were not bad at all. Like, it was just... I also knew that one of the first things that Sherelle mentioned was that, like, this party that they're hosting is not going to be a dating event. So she was like, Connie, I'm looking at you. Don't go after everybody.
But it was a dating event. Like, it's hot women. Some of them are single. Like, what do you think's going to happen?
I mean, it's going to happen. It's just...
I mean, you got to be flirting. You're selling this house. You got to be flirting.
That's exactly right.
It's a flirting event.
Like, it's going to help the sale. But, like, yeah, I guess they just have a rep or something. I don't know.
I mean, they're trying to get some sort of rep, I guess. By
professional rep. A good, like, it's going to be good for the business.
Yeah. So Joanna is 41. She's doing great. She looks literally in like her late 20s.
Yeah.
Crushing it.
So not like depressingly young to have a kid.
No. So, that as well.
So, look it up. Let's meet our last person we meet in the show. We meet Rena. We meet her trying to sell a $1.1 million house. 4-bedroom, 4-bath, 4,000 square foot. I think it was on a lake, they said.
It was like a little like side lake thing. It looked like maybe a man-made lake. So it was also an interesting contrast to like the $69 million homes, which are like seemingly on like the ocean potentially, or like a big bay, and this was like more of like upscale suburbia.
The $6.5 million home I wrote down was on the lake.
Okay.
But the $8.5 million, it didn't specify. It just said waterfront.
Yeah.
I assume waterfront means like on the ocean, but I don't really know where Tampa is in relation to said ocean.
It's the Gulf of Mexico.
I know it's on closer to the western front. I just wasn't sure if it was on the ocean or not.
No. Yeah, but like I think for the big home, they showed like a big boat going by, so I feel like that has to be the main body of water. You're not getting that big boat like a little lake.
I mean, so we all live in Seattle, and a $1.1 million house like doesn't buy you a whole lot in Seattle at the moment. So this house looks amazing for $1.1 million.
Yeah, it looks quite nice. Yeah, I think the one thing we don't know is like she said it's a very desirable neighborhood. It's like North Tampa.
I mean, you're in suburbia here for sure. You're in suburbia hell. I'm sure the traffic in Florida is terrible. So you're signing up for that. But it's sold in cash in the episode. So who knows who bought it? I doubt it was the client Alba that came by. She was probably the only one that signed a release to be on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, sign me up. Other than I don't want to live in suburbia. So
they keep saying they're a luxury real estate firm. What does luxury mean? How low? Because 1.1 mil, it was a nice house. What do you think their lowest is?
I think...
I can tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
This is basically as low as they go. At least for houses they are selling. I don't know if for the buyers they represent, how low they go. But on their website, you can scroll through all the houses that they have listed. It goes to the low millions, but not below there, which is frustrating because they have a search filter to look through all their listings on their website. It starts at 300K and it goes to 100 million, which is just absurd for relative sliding. The second thing, no matter what you search for, it crashes the search results page on their website, which is also just clown town. But anyway, I digress. It's about
default deep into the corner. I imagine that it's some default software real estate website stuff.
It's not. No. They have some custom site. This is not some template.
What was that marketing guy you said? It's probably his doing.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it. Like it's an absurd site for a real estate agent. It's a very fine site for celebrities.
All right. The last minutia I like to bring up before we go to questions is we have Rena. So there's this photo at this stupid party, and no one gives a fuck about this, but they have Rena's not in it. And there's at least 5 minutes of this fucking show about how Rena's not in the photo, Rena's upset, Rena was on time, Sherelle was late, oh my god, and we gotta talk to all our ex-football players about how I'm not in the photo and I'm not in the photo, and I'm talking about it and I still hate it. And I've been talking about it too long.
Okay, but I think that there's a little bit of legitimacy to that. Part of the thing is that they're showing off, like, the girls are showing off the women are showing off the business, and that's, like, everybody there has to be represented. It's a big moment for them, so, like, not selecting the right photo is a little bit of a problem. They didn't need to spend 5 minutes on it, but they also could have just, like, shown it in that meeting and, like, hey, here's this photo we're going to show. It's like, that's solved in 5 seconds.
I didn't get why the photo was there to begin with. I don't think it added anything to the party.
Drama.
Yeah, this is all staged. This is all completely staged. They threw a party to sell this home, and they turned it into this this anniversary celebration. And what even makes it more absurd is they have all these photos they've been taking for the show. So this is the producers literally just saying, look, here's how we're going to ham it up, which is a little annoying, but that's what we get.
Yeah, see, that's my fear for the rest of this season, is that there might not be enough drama, so they keep creating this fake drama. So I feel like Selling Sunset had legit drama. Like, there were a lot of things fake about it, but it feels like the drama there is much more real.
Can you remind me what the drama was for Selling Sunset? I blocked that content permanently out of my mind.
Oh, so there's so much. Multiple of them used to date the owner. So then one of them is like the favorite. And then they just talk like trash. I mean, lots of gossip, spreading rumors.
I wonder, because they're in LA, they're just better actors. It's funny. So I'm looking at all their Instas today, and like they're all like are going crazy, right? Because today's the release of the show, so there's like 50 stories, right? But they partied last night with the Selling Sunset crew, So they showed them in group photos and celebrating it. So, I mean, my take on this is literally carbon copy. They're just better actors.
That could be, because Selling Sunset had legit, like at least one or two of them were actresses.
Well, the one of them was like from that soap opera, right?
Yeah.
I forgot her name. Yeah.
Chriselle.
Yeah.
From what I remember of Selling Sunset, which I watched one episode, the drama was about on par, bro. I don't think that there was my big issue was like, I feel like all this is fake. And I didn't really get that from the show, so I feel like the drama might be better. Even though it is still, like, a lot of it was fake. But the whole show wasn't about the drama. It was like, this last bit was really about the drama. A lot of the other part was just like, hey, we're hanging out. We're like drinking and we're like talking about this party, throwing shade. That's great. But this like, am I supposed to be in this photo or not? Is terrible. It was so bad. I thought the show was fine up until that point. And I was like, nope, thank God this thing's over.
Well, the thing is, like, all the drama, like, all of these segments where they're just hanging out are still segments that they're injecting, like, the storyline of the drama. Oh, don't wear the wrong outfits. Oh, like...
No, you're right. They are teeing up, like, some of this, but that's still not talking about this stupid picture for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's get the questions.
No. There's a thing about the party. So... we have a former or maybe off-season Steeler player. More credence. This was shot in the spring, off-season. Just saying. A Steeler player, a Bengal, and supposedly a Buck. Type of big Buccaneer. It's one thing I find very strange. They just decide to like hang around at this party for a minute. Like when they go to like this big anniversary speech, they're there. When they're in the little corner, like hugging each other, like right in the background, you see them just like chilling around there. I'm very confused, like what these guys are like doing there. Like, what's happening?
I'm gonna tell you what's happening. Is that they're invited to this free party, and they're just hanging out, drinking free booze, hanging out with these hot ladies. NFL players cannot afford an $8.5 million house unless they are like the top 3% of the NFL. Especially like an ex-player, there's no way he can afford $8.5 million house unless he's like Shaq and he does like a ton of investments.
It didn't even look like any of them were in the market. Like they were trying to convince them that they have the money to buy this kind of house. Like they didn't even seem remotely interested in the house.
No.
They were more interested in this drama about this fucking picture.
Or the ladies. They were there.
They're in there for the ladies, 100%.
I can buy the lady argument. They're all very attractive, right? And so, like, they're attractive, they're successful. Like, why not? But like, do you need to be on TV for that, or you think like the lady's trying to like, hey, you know, instead of this date, why don't you come by my new Netflix show? Do me a favor. Maybe we can go hang out.
Or maybe Netflix arranged the whole thing. Did they get the players there?
They might be paid to be there for all we know.
Oh.
They're not there to buy the house. 100%.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people can afford an $8.5 million house. Let's be clear.
Can we talk about the old creepy man that was there that was like, I didn't get a tour of the house?
Dr. G.
Yeah. What was he doing there?
Flirting with the women.
Very creepy. Very.
What do you think he was doing there, Christina?
But like, how did they let him in? Like, aren't we talking gated like properties, communities?
We're talking about you're trying to sell an $8.5 million house, and a lot of people that can afford that are creepy old white men. So that's your clientele.
Did you notice that 2 women went to go show on the tour though, not one?
Oh, yeah. Gotta have that safety person. It's a code.
Really funny. Yeah, I'm trying to find a Dr. G in Tampa. There is, funnily enough, a Dr. G. He's looks like a podiatrist or orthopedic surgeon, a different guy.
the problem is, like, Dr. G could just be any doctor whose last name begins with G. Like, they're just hiding their identity.
Could be. I wonder if I search Dr. G Tampa creepy.
No, here I want you to level up your.
I was gonna say he probably lost his license. Like, he's probably no longer a doctor because he's so creepy.
So, one, like, you can continue to search for Dr. G Selling Sunset. You could also take a screenshot of the Netflix thing and try to do some reverse image searching and see if there's any photos and dive from there.
Oh man, is this going to be a 3-hour podcast? All right, we got to move to questions here. I'm going to abbreviate some of these questions too. So, Christina, if you're not aware, we do a series of questions that we do stock for each episode. So, you'll get them. Who's the worst human being in this episode?
Dr. G?
No, it's close.
I mean, I don't. I have maybe. No one's really bad. Like, the producers of the show know exactly what they're putting on. Like, the actors or like people on the show exactly. They're not necessarily doing anything bad.
I mean, maybe Sherelle for not going home when her parents' house burned down.
That's a good contender. I like that one. I think we're just gonna slam Dr. G right now.
Yeah, Dr. G is really.
Yeah.
So do you think this is an apex downgrade for Sherelle here? Like, in terms of TV, this is obviously her apex. She's not in anything else. But if you're selling $6 million homes and you're in the military for 10 years,
yeah,
like,
I mean,
is being on TV
I think
your apex?
It's apex for entertainment.
Oh, 100%. There's no question.
Yeah.
Also, apex for life in general. Like, hey, you own your business and a TV show.
Yeah. It seems like she's just, like, doing well across the board. Like, she did her 10 years in the military. She's dating a somewhat famous NFL player.
Somewhat. He's like one of the most famous NFL players.
He's like the only person I follow on Twitter, and it's amazing.
I think for our generation, he's very well known. But he doesn't play anymore, so it's like, that's why.
Sure. Like, if you didn't know him 5 years ago, you won't know him today.
Right. Exactly.
But he's one of the more famous players for not for being great at the NFL, but just being a character, which is hard to do in the NFL.
Oh, he's great, yeah. But yeah, she just seemed to be doing good.
All right, let's talk about who's going to hook up next. Do you think it's going to be Colony or
Anne Sophie? I put it on Anne Sophie.
Brian, what's your vote here?
I'm just going with Colony. You got to take one bet for me.
One bet. Is she gonna hook up with Cho?
No, I think Cho's got done. No
Cho's
way.
Off the show.
That's the thing. I can't say like who they're gonna hook up with because it's just gonna be like client,
random fake client.
Yeah, and this is also probably gonna be fake hookup.
Can Sherelle hook up with Chad Ochocinco? Because I think that's gonna be my vote.
I mean, is hooking up just like not getting with somebody random?
I don't know. I feel like Chad's going to be on the show sooner than later.
I hope so. He's been tweeting a lot about it.
He's probably a producer.
No, what's your vote?
I'm going to go with just don't know yet. Like, they haven't been introduced.
It's not how this works, though.
Well, in that case, I'm going to take a little bit of I don't want to call this sexist, but maybe it is. Obviously, if I'm thinking it probably is. But anyway, Colony and Anne Sophie, I think they probably get a little...
You think they're going to hook up with each other?
Yeah. Just a little.
The nieces.
The nieces. They're going to be kissing nieces now.
Just a little.
I'm gonna tweet at them and you saying that they're gonna get next.
Just a little though. Like I'm not talking about like overboard. Just a little.
All right. Let's do drinking rules. Let's do it. I think I've got a good one. Every house they show, drink for every $1 million the house is worth. So they show $8 million house, you drink eight drinks.
Jesus, that's like for a beer, that would just be the entire beer.
That's that. You choose what 8 is. For it, like I think back in the day, like 42 was like a full beer or something. So like that would be where I would put it. But you know, if you think 8 is a full beer, you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah, 100%.
Brian, what's your drink?
Every time there's shade thrown.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Noah?
Every time they mention a zodiac sign, take a shot.
I didn't notice that.
Take
That's
a shot.
Oh,
that can go
You
by real
mentioned it
quick.
once. That and Sophie, that because she's a Libra, she has certain kinds of emotions. I'm going to say that we're going to hear a bit more of that as the season goes on. So go buy that bottle of Captain Morgan and buckle up.
Christina, do you have a drinking rule?
I do. Every time someone takes a glass of champagne from the champagne wall, you got to take a drink.
I'll add on to that. Anytime they get a drink, you take a drink. I think there's going to be quite a bit of drinking going on in the show, so that's good. I'll throw another one on the top because this is all about money. Anytime they talk about spending money on something ludicrous like a vacation, take many drinks. Just drink for however many you think how ludicrous that thing is. Because that's unreal. All right, let's.
Every time you see a Mercedes Benz, take a small sip because you're going to be taking lots of sips.
That's a good one. I like that one. Anyone else before we move on? All right. Before we get into ratings, let's do one more question. Let's do what we love about this show because I think that this is going to be needed for a show like this. Christina, tell me what you love about the show.
I love seeing the fancy houses.
Solid. Brian, what do you love about the show?
I love the pure enjoyment from the sassiness.
Noah, what do you love about the show?
Those both are pretty good. I like learning a little bit about Tampa. I don't really know anything about Tampa except they got lightning and some pirates, so it's good.
And Tom Cruise has a house there. I thought that was the most random fact that they said.
The way they talked about, like, we're a real city, we have all professional sports, I was like, what? It was such a weird way. I'm trying to justify this little city is, like, not a little city.
And the celebrities they chose to say that had houses there, it's like Tom Cruise, no one cares. Derek Jeter, like, he hasn't played baseball in how many years? And then Tom Brady, which, to be fair, obviously they're going to mention him.
Well, obviously he needs to have a house there.
Right.
Like, anyway, what I loved about the show is that it was moving a lot of the time. And I think the tone of the show was pretty good. It was, like, funny, but not, like, too serious. They kind of, like, played it well. I think it was a well-produced show. As we've seen many Netflix shows, not well-produced. So I'll give Netflix tip my hat when they produce a show. And that's it. Let's do our final question. We do ratings. We do a stack ranking system. It's top, middle, bottom, third. We will stack rank in their stack ranks. Follow us on Twitter to give us your own votes at Who Put This On. Brian, what's your rating?
I had to go bottom of the top. This moved enough that I was not bored, and I'm probably just going to keep this as a background show now. I'm going to dip in after this.
Ooh. Noah, what do you got for me?
I'm going middle, bottom of the middle. Despite having the appearance that I really like Selling Sunset, I think Selling Sunset is okay. The first season I found interesting, and then I barely could finish episode 1 of season 2. And I think this picks up more so on the later seasons of Selling Sunset, which makes sense. It's a successful show. Yeah, I think the show's fine. Like, it's fine to have in the background. What I really liked about Selling Sunset, the original, is like you really got that insight of this LA real estate to a degree. And so more shows like that, I would enjoy it a lot more. But obviously, as Netflix has found, it's better to do true reality hand-up TV with real estate as a means to get there. And so for that reason, middle, bottom of the middle.
Christina, what is your rating?
I think I'd go with top of the middle. I think I'm comparing it to Selling Sunset. One episode in, I agree. I'm not sure I'm buying it as much as I bought Selling Sunset, and I'm afraid it's just going to be too fake. I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to watch the season, see how it goes, but not overly optimistic.
So, Selling Sunset, top at the top, what's your Selling Sunset?
I would say mid top.
So that show is better than the show because you believe
Absolutely.
that show more than this one. Are the women hotter there? What is the?
No, I think Noah hit on it earlier. I think they're better actresses, at least so far. And I don't know. I believe that they're actually selling houses more, which may not be true, but they made me think that so far.
With it's out there, maybe they just get better actors as clients because they're in LA.
Yeah, the whole thing could just be better produced in LA.
Yeah. Anyway, as I discussed earlier, I thought this was going to be a middle third show because I thought it was moving, and then we got the photo of Dude, and I ended that show. I was like, thank God this is over. So it's got to be about a third. I can't do it. I don't know. It broke me. I can't do it. I do think it's like top. I put it at the top of the bottom, even though I don't usually do that. But that's where this one lays. Brian, do you have any shout outs this week?
This week, I did watch another episode of Love Never Lies. That was good. I wouldn't change my rating either way, but it's an interesting show.
Remind me of what your rating was.
I think it was a middle show, but I don't remember exactly where in the middle.
Noah, what's your shout out this week?
Yeah, so a pod not favorite, but I thought it was decent. Blown Away. They have a holiday special. So I've been watching that, and it's enjoyable. I would recommend it, so I'm going to give that a little bit of a shout out. I'm going to give a shout out to our old favorite Shark Tank. Catch it on Hulu. They just did their Christmas special. It was not that good, the Christmas special, but it's Shark Tank. And lastly, I want to give a wag of the finger, bring back some Stephen Colbert to Mayor of Kingstown. So I have my free trial of Paramount Plus right now. And Jeremy Renner does this show called Mayor of Kingstown on there. Man, I really tried to like this. I really tried. It's not good. It's just not good.
Okay, well there you have it. Christina, do you have a shout out?
No, I got nothing.
Okay. All right. I got a couple shout outs. Saw a couple movies this week. Saw 8-Bit Christmas. Very meh movie. I can't really recommend it. If you like A Christmas Story, you might like it. It's very much a Christmas story, but set during Christmas story time, but filmed today. Very weird. I don't understand why you made this movie. Anyway, it has Jingle All the Way if you were the kid, and it just I don't know, didn't work for me. I saw West Side Story this week. Movie was filmed beautifully. It's a beautiful movie, but it's still West Side Story as a story. Just doesn't fit in 2021, and it was a little long. So it's if you really like musicals and you really like West Side Story, go for it because I think it's filmed beautifully. But other than that, I'd probably also say skip it. But I do have a recommendation: Arcane on Netflix. Very, very good fantasy animated show. Highly recommended. Very good world building. Very interesting story. So go watch Arcane. Anyway, you can find us on Twitter and tell us what you thought about selling Tampa on or at Who Put This On. You can find us on Facebook.com/Who Put This On. You can ask questions and suggestions at whothison@gmail.com. And you can watch us on TikTok. Please follow us on TikTok. We're a week behind, but we'll get there. We're getting some TikToks out there.
You get to see what Chris looks like.
It's true. You get to see my face in all the glory that you can. It imposes is on the.
How much about a sing? We're interested to know.
All right. We'll see you guys next time. Bippity boppity boo.